Joining us now is Toby Mack. He's the president and the chief executive officer of Energy Equipment and Infrastructure Alliance, EEIA. Toby, thanks for your patience. A lot going on today. Thanks for being with us, sir.
Thank you, John. Pleasure to be here.
All right, Toby, we're fired up because, we've been seeing this pipeline, this Atlantic Coast pipeline, making its way around Virginia. Now, just to give you an example, in my backyard, I live in a condominium area in Chesapeake by Indian River High School. So right in my backyard, I don't own the property, but adjacent to it, pipeline is going in. They were working on it. Stopped now. I don't know where everybody's gone, but we kind of can't wait till it's in there. And they put the grass back and everything. And there's a hearing today in Buckingham. Can you give us an update on what is going on?
Yes. Well, first of all, John, the pipeline is incredibly important to Virginians because it's going to provide a great wealth of very affordable and reliable natural gas for a host of things: home heating and industrial energy and power, just down the line. So the hearing is about a compressor station. Pipelines. Natural gas pipelines need compressors to keep the gas moving through the pipeline across the length of its travel, and so the compressor just recompresses the gas to keep it moving as designed. And the compressor is powered by natural gas turbines, and there is requirement for an air quality permit for the compressor's power source, and so that's what the hearing is about. It's to hear opinions from stakeholders and then issue the permit so that the compressor station can be built. Okay,
so what is the beef now? I mean, we've been going through this, Toby, for so long with all these protests and everything else. What is the holdup now? What is the one thing that we've got to get through in order to get everything done?
Well, opposition to the pipeline, which we think is ill-advised and uninformed, wants to stop the project in its entirety, which we think is a really bad idea because of its benefits and value to the Commonwealth and virtually to the nation. So the opposition is grounded in what they call keep it in the ground, which the philosophy of which is to stop pipelines, because if you can't transmit the natural gas via pipeline, you can't produce it and you can't consume it, because there's really no other economical way to transport natural gas than through pipelines. And so that's what the opposition is about. And the opposition will leverage any opportunity they can to throw a monkey wrench into the works. And since projects like this, and particularly the Atlantic Coast Pipeline, need a host of different types of permits, they see all of these points of attack and all of these targets of opportunity to try to get either slow down or stop the project. And so that's what this is about.
We're with Toby Mack. He's the president and CEO of Energy Equipment and Infrastructure Alliance, EEIA. Toby, the hearing in Buckingham today, we know the opposition is going to be there in full force. There's a couple of hearings on this over the next 2 days. The advocates of going forward and completing this pipeline, what do they need to have? What do they need to see in these two hearings?
Well, first of all, we need to have advocates present for the hearings, and we think that there's going to be a tremendous turnout of supporters. And so the Virginia Department of Environmental Quality, which is holding the hearing, needs to see and hear that support. And so we think that they're going to hear it in spades. We know that the opposition is going to be there, and we know pretty much what points they're going to try to make. But the compelling logic of this project and the tremendous number of people that are going to benefit from it, including the people that are building the project, and that's just thousands and thousands of construction workers, equipment operators, pipeline welders, and on endlessly. whose jobs depend on this. And so the other category of beneficiaries are going to be there are the people that, whose economics, whose jobs, and whose small businesses, and whose energy budgets really depend on this thing going through. And so the supporters are going to be there.
Well, we also know that the opposition is going to be there, right? In full force, all the protesters are all going to descend on the hearings. What criteria do you see, Toby Mack? What criteria, what things going on in this hearing do you think, besides turnout, are going to influence the decision makers?
Well, they're going to listen to the comments that are being made. And by the way, not only will there be oral comments at the hearing, but the hearing, coincident with the hearing, the Department of Environmental Quality had asked for written comments, and so there are going to be thousands and thousands of those. And they will be listening to people not only just talking through the very, very stringent environmental controls that Dominion is installing with this compressor, but the importance of the pipeline generally, and the fact that you can't build the pipeline without compression. And so they're going to listen to this. And they're going to their job with this hearing is to evaluate the air quality controls that are being implemented. And by the way, the air quality controls for this compressor station are incredibly more stringent than almost any other compressor that's been built for a pipeline in Virginia, and there have been many. So this thing is going to meet and exceed even the most stringent requirements that the Department of Environmental Quality has specified.
For the life of me, Toby, I cannot understand what the pipeline advocates have gone through in order to get this thing done. It's already under construction. We've already got jobs out there going on. And it's like one thing after the other. And it's like, what is the opposition after here? Do they just want to shut the thing down and have it ripped out of the ground? I mean, now it's a compressor issue. Tomorrow it's going to be, a tree someplace. Where does this end?
Well, as I said, they're trying to slow down the project, and their dream is to stop it, which is I think a totally unwise and unreasonable goal for them to have. But they're looking to throw roadblocks up against the construction of this project any way they can, and so they look at all of these permits that you mentioned, and there have been I think literally hundreds that the developer has had to jump through the hoops to secure. And so they're looking at each one of these permits as a point of attack to try to put some barrier in the way of the project continuing. They're trying to keep it in the ground, and the way to keep natural gas in the ground is to not build pipelines to transport it to market. And so they're looking at that. They're looking at that bigger picture, and that's what's driving their opposition. They do not want Americans to have access to inexpensive, affordable, very, very reliable, and clean-burning energy, because they think that the whole country needs to be 100% run on wind and solar. We're all of the above. We think wind and solar is a good thing, but you can't integrate it into the grid without natural gas. And so their philosophy is illogical. The foundation of their opposition is absolutely illogical.
I tell you what, this is one of the things where people just have to turn out if they have some time, they're in the area. So tomorrow, September 11th, 2018, there will be a public hearing in the cafeteria of the Buckingham County Middle School that's located at 1184 High School Road in Buckingham, Virginia. This is from 5 to 9:30 p.m. or until all the comments are received, whichever comes first. The opposition is going to be out in force. They're packing a bag. A lot of these people they're paid protesters. Toby, they get bussed in. But this is an opportunity for interested individuals to present their comments to DEQ on the air permit of the compressor, and it's also serves for them as a listening session. And one rule is attendees may not arrive before 4 p.m. School is still in session, and the school day does not conclude until 4 p.m. So this is something, turn out for this and go through it, because this pipeline is so important to energy, to jobs, not only jobs for construction of the pipeline, as you've seen now, but jobs going forward, because manufacturing plants are going to locate in areas adjacent to the pipeline so they can get the energy right there. So that means jobs wherever the pipeline is. And even if it's going through Toby, it's going right through my backyard in an area where my son, who's a baseball pitcher in high school, play long toss. And yeah, it's been a little inconvenient, right? Because we have to maneuver our way around. But when the whole thing is done, I'm going to get this great turf over it. It's going to be fabulous. So, what's the problem here? I don't get what these people want to do, because you can't stop the flow of natural gas in the United States. And the only other alternative is truck or train, both of which have proven to be much more dangerous. So the whole opposition to this is incredible to me. It's like, okay, by stopping the pipeline, somehow we can stop the flow of natural gas and have no energy. I mean, it's crazy, isn't it, Toby?
It is absolutely crazy. And oh, by the way, when the project is finished, when the construction is finished in that area, you won't even know it's there. I mean, because the requirements are to restore the land to its pre-construction condition, and typically what will happen is that it'll be better than it was before the pipeline was installed. And you got to think of a pipeline. It's a highway. It's a highway for natural gas, and think of the temporary inconvenience caused by the construction of superhighways or the improvement of superhighways. Yes, there's a period of time where it's a little bit inconvenient because it does slow down traffic and so forth. But when it's finished, everybody's life is better because they have quick and easier access to wherever they're going, because new infrastructure is absolutely critical for people to be able to get around and for goods to be able to get around. And this is just part of that infrastructure investment that is so critical to our standard of living, our mobility, our ability to know that when we flip the switch, the lights are going to go on. It is so illogical to think that this pipeline shouldn't be built. So we're all in, and we just hope that as many people as can possibly make it to that hearing that you announced the time and place of, John, come out and be there. And it's not even necessary to speak. It's great if you can. But these hearing examiners want to see kind of the politics in the room and the politics of supporters versus opponents. And our hope is that the supporters are just going to overwhelm with their presence the people who were there who are trying to illogically stop the project.
All right, Buckingham, show up September 11th tomorrow. Can't get there before 4 p.m. It's at the middle school. We'll be talking about it all day. Toby Mack, thanks for being with us, President, CEO, Energy Equipment and Infrastructure Alliance.